One of the reasons Jesus came to earth was to show us who his heavenly Father is. He told this story to give us a picture of him. We commonly know this story as the prodigal son, but Jesus did not tell it to highlight the failure and shame of the prodigal, but to demonstrate his Father's forgiveness, compassion, and generosity. Once there was a father who had 2 sons. The older son was all about doing the right things and following the rules. We might say he was religious in his rule following. The younger son was restless and bored and rebellious. He couldn't wait to get off his father's farm. So one day he went to his father and asked for his inheritance early so he could go out to explore the world. His father loved him way too much to try to control him, so he gave him the money and sent him on his way with a sinking heart, wondering if he would ever see him again. The younger son had a great time at first. He threw party after party, and everyone came, that is, as long as he bought the drinks. As soon as the money ran out, however, he wasn't quite as popular. When he found himself doing the lowest thing possible, feeding pigs, wishing he could eat their food, he came to his senses and said to himself, "In my father's house, even the servants have a roof over their head and food to eat. I'm not worthy to be called a son any longer, but maybe my father will let me be a slave in his household." So he began the long journey home, each step getting harder as he neared home. He continued practicing his speech over and over. "Father, I'm not worthy." What he didn't know was that his father stood on his porch day after day, night after night, hoping and praying his son would come home. The day he saw his son round the bend, he took off running towards the slump-sagging shoulders of his sauntering boy. He flew into his son, enveloping him in his arms, crying out, "My son, you were lost and now you are found. You were dead and now you are alive." His son started his speech, "Father, I am not worthy." His father cut him off and threw his coat over him. His coat was his family identity. He took shoes and put them on his bare feet because, you see, slaves didn't wear shoes. And his father wanted to restore the status of his son to his family. And amazingly, his father gave him back the family credit card by putting the ring on his fingers. This is how they did business transactions. His father didn't shame him or quickly get him into the house to hide him from the neighbors. No, he called for the biggest party ever to celebrate that his lost son was found. His dead son is alive. When the older son came home, the party was in full swing. He asked one of the servants what was going on, and when he heard his brother was home, he stood outside seething. He was furious that after all he'd done and to do the right things, following all the rules and working really hard, here was his brother being celebrated for his rebellious behavior. His father, with his focus on relationship, realizing his older son should be home by then, went to look for him. He found him outside still fuming. He went to him and said, "My son, come into the party." His son answered, "I can't believe this. I have slaved for you all these years, and you've never thrown me a party. And now this son of yours comes home and you throw him one. How does he deserve this?" The father answered, "My beloved son, everything I have is yours. It always has been. But your brother was lost, and now he is found. He was dead, and now he is alive. Will you come into the party and join me in the celebration?"